7 are our representatives. We have worked with Ms. Peter and the Malama Pai Foundation for 2 years. Yes. And have gone on many, many field trips, which have been absolutely amazing. One of the reasons why we started working together on this program is it was a couple years after COVID. We hadn't gone anywhere for a while. Everybody was still a little bit scared to travel. And we had a fire drill because there was a bushfire near our school. And we had to evacuate and get on buses and go to the soccer field in town. And the kids wrote on their memory book, like blurbs of the memory of their year, that they really enjoyed the field trip to the soccer field. And I was like, this isn't going to happen on my watch. We're not doing this anymore. So we partnered with Malama Pai, and Cater came on, and we worked some awesome field trips in the meantime. The first one that we went to was the Kwana'iki Beach Park. And we worked with the Kwana'iki Ohana, including Miss Krista and a lot of the group, and Uncle Gary and a lot of the group over there. And we did some oldie in the morning. We worked really hard removing lots of kiave bushes with giant thorns. They grow real big in Kwana'iki. And pulling out pickleweed and really opening up anguilline ponds that hadn't been opened up before. So that was really awesome. Learned about some petroglyphs that had recently been discovered out there. And just learned about like the impact, positive and negative, that humans can have on our environment. So that was pretty cool.
And we worked in the Keahole watershed and the Ahupua'a of Kohana'iki. So when we go to these places, the students learn about what watershed and what Ahupua'a they're in. And we try to keep them in the same, if possible, although we have learned that some of the Ahupua'as have numerous names for one spot, like Akahiao.
You want the kids to share?
Sure. Do you guys want to talk about what we did?
Come on, don't be shy.
Just describe the picture. It's okay.
Okay.
No right or wrong.
So this is the hale at Kwana'iki, and we were drawing pictures of the opaiula and describing what they are. And then these are pictures of us.
This area right here where the kids are standing completely got taken out. So this was connected when we left. This all got connected to the other pond, which is great because the opaiula need to have that, right?
Right. And you see some of the keave. We also use a lot of pliers when we're working with the keave. And these students are working with saws and loppers, and they are deep in it, hands in the mud, right, Harlow?
Yeah.
Let's switch gears.
Oh yeah. So we emptied all of the this. I think it was that tree. We took it out. Me and Ella, we took it out, and then all of the rocks everywhere. We all took that out. This became clear. Everything over here was gone. This was a foot deep, and everyone had mud all over them. It was kind of crazy.
It was very sticky.
Oh yeah, and this tree, we took that out too. Yeah, it was really fun.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we came here for a field trip at Kaloko Ponds, and we basically just took out all the the mud, I guess. Okay. So some of these photos, this one is when we're a bunch of the invasive species we took out of the pond, and we were measuring the salinity of the water. Yeah.
So we did water quality testing, we did invasive species removal, and that picture on the far left is opening Ole protocol.
And when we went there, actually, when you look at the Ole Oli right there. One of the coolest things happened during this Oli. We were all standing out there. We did our own school Oli to sort of welcome us to the area and introduce ourselves to the area. And then our guide Loke, who is a Native Hawaiian who works very, very hard to conserve the Koloko Ia. She went out there with her family and put a lei on their, what's it called, hapu? Or
They placed an
On the little
offering
altar.
on the little island right in front.
and her amakua is a pui, is a eel. And just as they were putting out their lei, a pui came across right in front of them. And it was just like perfect and amazing. And it started off our day pretty incredibly. So, yeah. Okay, Omar, you used to be up next.
I just want to let you guys know that these guys didn't practice this presentation. So they have posters they're going to be sharing.
So that we talk about, yes.
Yeah. So I just wanted you to know that the kids weren't totally prepared to present today like some of the other groups. So I'm just want to give you guys that heads up.
Okay, so this is not copy.
Okay, so one of our field trips was to the Akahia Nature Institute, and it was really cool. We got to like plant a lot of native plants in the gardens, and we did other stuff like learning about native species, and yeah, you can see some of the photos. We also had to do like some measuring things where we had to like find like the terrain and like what the like what the ground was of, and then we got to like take some of the food that was growing in the gardens and make like spring rolls and stuff. Those are pretty good. And yeah, that was pretty cool. I like this field trip.
Excellent, thank you.
You can fast forward, keep going to IPCM. So keep going. I think that's it.
No,
for-
that's it for
That's it.
IPCM.
for innovation.
And so,
Okay.
Innovations has poster sessions around, so please come by and visit during our poster session and see what the individual student groups decided to do for their stewardship project. Thank you. Ready?
So now it's HTA. Just keep going through the slides.
All right, can I-
HTA.
Can I please,
Oh, no, there's a separate thing.
can I please call up HTA students, a few, and Miss Megan Lernan?
Yeah, but you're not presenting.
So these students a few of them knew they were gonna present, and for those that don't wanna present, just stand up here and represent. Present or represent? These are all good life skills, talking in front of people, using microphones. I'll go ahead and hand the mic off to Miss Meg. Been teaching science for many, many years here in Hawaii.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Especially thank you to the students. This is a really exciting experience, and I'm really proud of each and every one of you for being here and for standing up on this stage. It's a big deal and super cool that you're doing this. My name's Miss Meg. I teach grades 6 through 8 science, and I'm going to pass this over to River and Lono, and they are going to represent for our HTA students. We just have a small portion of our 7th and 8th grade classes here. We took about 50 students out into the field this year, and so they're going to share with you what we did.
Thank you, I guess. Hello? All right, so essentially the first thing, and this was kind of the foundation of our year for science, at least for 8th grade, I'm not sure for 6th and 7th, but we started with watersheds and everything else kind of devolved from there. But with the Ridge to Reef program, and again, our beloved helpers, I suppose, this was an interesting lesson. It was a virtual day though, so yeah. Anyways, that's it for this slide. Okay, so we studied watersheds, as River said. We learned why they're important, and some of the reasons were, of course, in their name. It's in their name. They provide water and nourishment. Watersheds go from the mountains all the way down to the ocean, and yeah, this basically. So we had 3 field studies with our beloved program here. The Calico, sorry if I mispronounce these, Calico Hanoko Hanakahau Lokoia, the Kahaluhu, and the Kuheva. Uh, I don't remember the exact of all these field studies, but they were quite fun. Yeah.
Okay, so for our Kahalu Kuaheba field study, we went up and we did our Oli, and then we opened up a map and basically studied everything, and um we worked in the mala. We were transferring dirt, I believe, um into and into the mala for the kalo and removing invasive species.
This field study, it was the fish pond. I'm not saying the Hawaiian name. So, do I have to?
We'll sing for you.
Okay. Um, so in this field study, as you see on the list, we learned about all that. Um, we did the AOMI in this picture, and for the rest of the field study, which was pretty fun, we collected jellyfish. It was almost like a competition, see who could collect the most pounds, which was kind of unfair depending on how big of a jellyfish you got, but nonetheless, um, the most one group got was 13 pounds, according to Lono. Uh, this was quite a fun experience, and I definitely recommend it to any other schools if they have a choice even. But yeah.
And those are invasive jellyfish, so obviously that's why we were removing them.
And our third field study was the Kahalu'u Beach Park one. We basically started and did our research questions, which we'll go over in a bit. But yeah.
Okay. Now, I don't remember this field study, but if it's still the Kaluhu one, then I can add some context.
Yes.
All right, this is 7th grade. I'm not experienced in this, but I'm guessing they did the same as 8th grade, collected data for their posters that we're about to showcase, as well as simply experiencing what it's like. Um, Again, we did things like ENT, biodiversity, etc. These are some of the pictures for the 8th grade experience on this field study. I believe these 3 right here are 8th grade, the other 2 are 7th or 6th.
You ready? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys don't have to read everything on the slide. You're doing great. Give us a little overview, and then
Okay.
we have poster sessions.
What are coral reefs? Of course, in the beginning, it went over, but here's a slight overview of it a little more. They provide coral reefs are the most biodiverse ecosystems, and they contain 25% of marine life. Um, as said before, they contain zooxanthellae, which coral bleaching happens when the zooxanthellae is either is expelled. Um, and yeah.
Uh,
You can just skip that. These are just
Alright.
some topics we covered with in-class presentations.
some threats to coral reefs. I would say this, but Lona wanted to share with you guys.
Okay. Also, which was said in the beginning, is global warming, uh, climate change, which is erosion, uh, pollution, and ocean acidification, which is when CO2 goes into the water and makes it more acidic.
Um, our process for the Kaluhu Bay, I haven't went over these slides before, so I apologize for this. But we practiced things like Kilo, generated questions in the classroom. We had an interesting presentation by the staff there. We heard Hawaiian stories. Then as for gaining evidence and data for our research and project, we did things like water quality testing, which we learned at school. We developed a procedure for data collection. We analysis. I didn't say that right, but you get the point. And then finally, we practiced conducting citizen-related science stuff. I'm sorry.
Great. And these are some of the questions they investigated and poster presentation.
Yeah, you guys can just look over the questions. I'm not gonna read all of them.
And visit them at their poster presentations during poster time. Thank you. Anything to say?
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job. All right. Okay, so we have Waikoloa fifth graders come up.
Hi, everybody. So we have 80 fifth graders at Waikoloa Elementary School. We have students here representing a group, each of the 3 classes for fifth grade. And we went on 3 field trips. Each presentation will highlight one of the trips into Kamakoa watershed, which is where Waikoloa is. And each class chose a different environmental issue. The students here today are those that really chose to refine their public speaking. So we had a school-wide symposium and they had like a trial run. So this is their final performance. All right, so we're gonna start with Miss Hicks' class. We're gonna bring up Dash, Ace, Braxton, and Bruce. Okay, Braxton will start and then.
They've got their speaker notes.
Very professional. I love it.
Aloha and good morning. My name is Braxton and my partners Brayden, Ace, and Dash. And we are going to present about our field trip, coral health, and fish ponds.
There are lots of problems in the ocean. We need to know about them because our oceans are very important. These problems include climate change, plastic pollution, and water temperatures are rising. These can be very harmful to the plants and animals in the ocean, including coral.
How are corals made? Corals are made of thousands of polyps and their skeletons create coral reefs.
Reefs are important because they are homes for fish and provide earth oxygen, protect from tsunami, and provide medicines. Coral bleaching is when corals expel zooxanthellae, the algae. The algae try to survive, but the corals die. You can help corals survive by not littering and pick up trash. We also can use non-chemical sunscreen, sunscreen like blue lizard or banana boat. And we can use green energy like solar panels, hydropower, or windmills. By using green energy or green renewable energy, we'll save fossil fuels that increase the temperature that causes the coral polyps to lose algae.
Tourist education. It is important to spread the word to tourists and tell them about coral.
Here's a slide about our field trip to the Four Seasons and what we did there, like collecting tilapia and guppies that are invasive fish. And we learned about water quality and salinity. On our Four Seasons field trip, we got to remove invasive fish from the pond, including tilapia and guppies. Additional invasive fish species include towau. In addition to tilapia, the ocean has invasive species like towau. Towau eat resources that other fish need to survive. Towau are also really good eating fish. Roy were introduced to Hawaii for local fish stocks. Also, Roy can carry cicatera poisoning, which is extremely dangerous if you eat a fish with cicatera. Ta'ape are non-native species, and they are really populated. They eat small invertebrates and small fish. We learned how to check water quality, including temperature and salinity, which is how much salt is in the water. We learned to, and this is like a scale of what you would use to see if the water is good enough to suit fish. And we used microscopes to check if animals were healthy, and we used tools like microscopes to check if animals were healthy. And we went on a scavenger hunt to find native and invasive plants and animals around the Four Seasons beach. These are spinner dolphins that like to jump out of the water and spin. And we did a beach cleanup because the beach was filled with lots of microplastics that can cause damage to the coral reefs.
After we did our beach cleanup, or after we did our scavenger hunt stuff, we did our beach cleanup and did a maole for Four Seasons Hotel. Thank you guys for listening.
Any questions?
Oh, question. What was the most memorable part for you?
What do you mean?
From the field trips that you went on and the things that you learned, what do you think was the most memorable field trip or thing that you learned?
Picking up this one plant that smelled really bad.
And running around the beach and getting wet.
next class is from, I can't remember who was next, but Miss Wood's class. Miss Fernandez is the teacher now, and they chose deforestation as their class topic. So Kenzie, Kainoa, Finn, and Malia, can you please come and join us? Please bring your computer. Do you have your computer for your slides? Okay, will the next group not close their computer? All you have is good.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we're printed script, we're good.
Oh, so, okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming to the symposium. My name is Kenzie Morita from Waikoloa Elementary and Middle School.
Hi, my name is Finn Bogan, and I like to figure out how to make cars better for the ecosystem.
Hi, my name is Kainoa Yagi, and I like to plant trees and learn about the forest.
And now I guess it's me. Hi, my name is Malia Salo. I'm here with my group to talk about deforestation.
That's right. Just like Malia said, today we will be talking about deforestation. Now, some of you might be thinking, what is deforestation? Deforestation is the act of clearing a huge mass of forest by humans or natural causes. Deforestation from humans started approximately 10,000 years ago, where they started the development of agriculture and settlement. In the 1900s, Hawaii lost almost half of its forest because of humans. Plus, the overall tree loss in Hawaii was 2,000 acres since the 2000s. To reduce deforestation, we can start by teaching others the importance of saving our Earth. Like John F. Kennedy said, one person can make a difference and everyone should try. I feel that people should care and treat the island with respect no matter what. Furthermore, in Hawaii, we can plant native species and remove invasive plants. Would you want to live in a place where people didn't care about the ecosystem? I know I wouldn't.
Moving on to the causes of deforestation include the establishment of plantation, which started in the 17th century by the Virginia Company of London. They forced innocent people, slaves, to work free labor. Grazing is when humans let animals be free without preventives. For example, when I go to Waimea, I see so many goats, cows, and pigs, and you know what they're doing? They're grazing. Invasive species are another form of deforestation. There are animals that are not native to the island, which can cause a decrease for native species. Forest fires and wildfires, often caused by lightning or humans, can destroy huge areas of forests, which can get affected by deforestation. Since we're talking about native and invasive plants, we might as well tell you what they are. The definition of native means that they have been in the area for a very long time. Without human introduction. When they came here from the 3 W's, which we'll explain later, invasive means that they were brought here from people like Captain Cook and they harmed the environment and native plants. Now you know what native and invasive plants are. Let's talk about how native plants help Hawaii in general. Unlike invasive plants, native plants do not spread fast. They also provide us with food and shelter. Our native plants in Hawaii positively affect the environment and culture by supporting biodiversity, providing habitats, and and for native species, conserving water and improving soil health. Plus, if you have one at home, they often require less maintenance and water than non-native species.
Now we are going to talk about the three W's, wind, water, and wings. All of our native species came here from the three W's. Some plants that came here from the three W's are Ohialehua, Koa, and Elima. One of the three W's is the wind. Wind comes from wind currents. Wind currents are a major factor in the distribution of seeds. The wind can blow seeds which eventually end up here and in many other places around the world. Now for the second kind of part of the three W's is water. Water currents, especially in the ocean, play an important role in transporting seeds to our island and sometimes even plants. The ocean's current can play these items across very long distances, which impacts the biodiversity, which can be good but could also be bad. Lastly, now I will talk about the last part of the three W's. Wings! Flying creatures like birds are a key factor for transportation for many species of plants and animals. Plus the birds are other flying creatures can fly across islands and drop native plants/seeds.
Invasive plants are bad for the environment. Do you know why? There's a little secret. Non-native plants are problematic because they can cause damage to native species by competing for space and nutrients. They can cause erosion and poor water filtering. They can also disturb. I know that can be ecosystem and even cause economic and environmental damage. So next time you want to grow a garden, think about what is good for the ecosystem. Have you ever seen the news talking about the Lahaina wildfires? If you haven't, it's a major fire that was caused by fallen power lines that re-energized and sparked igniting basically everything. It was devastating to the people, not only that the Aina itself got damaged in the news. They didn't really get into why fires affect the forest, but we will. Wildfires have a really big effect on Hawaii, impacting not only people, but nature, the environment, and the environment. Fires can kill native trees, and then invasive species will take their space. Soil health and nutrients will become scarce, and there is more of a chance for erosion to happen. It can cause long-lasting damage to the ecosystem.
This year we went to Kaulana Manu, a rainforest, and our class discovered many exotic living things. Some native trees we saw were koa trees, ohialehua, ohelo that nenes feed on, and hapu'u, or in Hawaiian called abounding or plentiful. Sadly, we also saw plenty of invasive plants and animals taking over the Aina. Overall, I learned why every animal has its place in the ecosystem. So if a living thing goes extinct, there will be a ripple effect. Moss and lichen are things we saw at Kaulana Manu that are very important. These organisms were everywhere and help animals and plants. They form the base of the food web and help support the plants and animals, and help support the plants and animals in the ecosystem. Moss forms a sponge that collects water on the floor of the forest.
When we were at Kaulana Manu, we saw native birds. Native birds play a key role in the environment by pollinating plants and providing seeds through its waste. For example, the apapane helps by pollinating plants and controlling insect populations. The omao is known for being one of the berry-eating birds that dislodges seeds through its waste. And in the process sparks in plant growth. On top of that, birds pollinate Ohia lehuas, which is especially important in combating the disease rot. Rot threatens these trees, so the birds are essential to maintain healthy ecosystems and promoting diversity. These are one of many birds we heard at Kalana Manu.
I'll play it. Play the Oma. I don't know how to use it. Just click it. Just yeah. It's just slow. It's really slow. No.
We'll just make a
You'll have to listen to this later.
Sorry, guys. Now let me tell you about my experience to Carolina Manu. I really liked the field trip because we got to hike, do a scavenger hunt, and draw. It was a really, really fun. If you can, you should definitely go hiking there. Sorry. Now Kenzie will share her experience there.
I learned all about the ecosystem and life cycle. My favorite part was the meditation and the hike. It was relaxing, and all the time I heard no cars, people arguing, and machines running.
Sadly, I could not come to the field trip, but I bet it was fun.
I think Kalana Manu was a very fun place with many birds and plants. We did a lot of fun stuff there, and overall it was an amazing experience.
How to save our forests. You can help save our forests by going out and planting native trees like Willy Willy trees in Waikoloa. Visit our forest to learn about the people and animals there so you know what you need to protect.
Thank you for listening.
Any questions?
Do we have any questions right now? All right.
I know family is from the Waikoloa Dry Forest, and they're wearing a'ali'i lei, which is plantable lei, because those are the seeds of a'ali'i, and sometimes. Okay, we're gonna have Miss Boucher's class, Autumn, Nora, and Ben, and their class chose to focus on pollution.
Hi everyone, this is our Rich to Reef project. We decided to do it on pollution. I'm Autumn.
I'm Norsha.
I'm Ben Nuralahi.
As Ms. Souza had said, we went to a field trip to Waikoloa Dry Forest. There we collected ilima seeds and had a blast. We learned all about native plants and animals in the dry forest.
As a class, we decided that we were going to do pollution, which is something that is hurting our watershed and is what we're going to be talking about today.
Water pollution. Water pollution is the contamination of water bodies like rivers, lakes, and oceans with substances that make the water unsafe for human use, aquatic life, and the environment. These are things that contribute to water pollution. Sewage and wastewater from homes and industries, agriculture runoff, pesticides and fertilizers, industrial discharge of chemicals and toxins, mining activities, and plastics and other debris. Air pollution. Air pollution, as most of us know, is whenever we get our air polluted. It's actually the contamination of indoor or outdoor environment by any chemical, physical, or biological agent that modifies the natural characteristics of the atmosphere. Bog. Bog sends volcanic gases
and ash into our atmosphere, into our air. Nicotine, carbon monoxide, tar, and various other harmful substances like benzene and arsenic are things that come out of smoke or forest fires. Factories produce greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, methane, and VOC, heavy metals, and various other industrial chemicals. How can we help? We can help by doing something simple like using a reusable water bottle instead of a plastic one, or biking more instead of driving.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm going to be talking about chemical pollution. There are multiple ways chemical pollution shows itself. That includes oil dumping, factories blowing out smoke, and cars exhaust. There are also things like pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizer, which most of us use for gardening in our everyday life. Medicines that you consume come out in your urine, which means when you pee in the ocean, it hurts our ecosystem.
Land pollution is harmful because it contaminates soil, water, and air, leading to various environmental health issues. It can impact human health, disrupt ecosystems, and reduce food energy. Energy pollution and food waste are the reason for about 80% of land pollution. What pollution can do to our human health? Pollution negatively impacts human health, contributing to various illnesses and premature death. Air pollution in particular is linked to respiratory diseases, unsafe lung problems, heart problems, and certain types of cancer. Pollution poses unsafe risks to human health, impacting multi-systems and leading to a large range of diseases.
Pollution in Hawaii. As we know, millions of people come here every single year to see what some people call paradise. Those people may not know how important it is to keep our ecosystem in place. So they may do things like litter or waste stuff. We need to help them by maybe teaching them a bit about how our ecosystem works. There are also things like plastic pollution. Whenever you use a non-reusable water bottle, that can come into the ocean, our land, or maybe even our air. There are also each of us consumes and produces about 152 to 487 pounds of plastic waste each year, which that's a whole lot amount for 8.1 billion people living in the world. That means that there are a lot of plastic waste. If we reduce that, it can help us humongously. There are also things like a lot of us like to fish here, right? Well, whenever we leave our nets behind, that ain't so good. It leaves that net into our ocean, and it can someday lead to, as our science, Dr. Grace said, it can get onto coral polyps and kill them. Cars, as we all know, bring out exhaust and also make gas. That gas goes into our atmosphere, hurts air pollution. It can hurt water. If we keep using it and wasting it, it'll go into the ocean.
Organize the beach cleanup. As you can see, I organized a beach cleanup, and I'm going to explain to you all the positive effects beach cleanups can cause. Beach cleanups can help our ecosystem, the environment, and human health. When I did the beach cleanup, it was a blast, very friendly to our health, planet, and our beaches. It was easy to do and to plan. Our Ina and our shore is so much better now. Maybe you should try to host a beach cleanup. The results of the beach cleanup were good. Let me share the results with you. We picked up and processed about 16 pounds. As a fifth grade, we decided to do a trash cleanup. We not only cleaned up our own campus, but Holcomb Park, the park right next door to us. We worked really hard on February 19th. We cleaned up 31 pounds of trash. And that was not only our class, but the whole fifth grade. We worked really hard on this and had a lot of fun doing it.
Thanks for listening to our message, and remember to have a great day.
7th grade. So just, I'm sorry, we don't have really time for a break. We're just going to go through these slides. If you need to use the bathroom, feel free to go in and out on your own. And we're going to do the posters presentation after all this presentation. So, but be quick. If you have to use the bathroom, come back quickly. Okay.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna double check. Some of these are Canva presentations, some of them are Google Slides, and I had a little trouble. So if you want to click on the first one, yeah,
Okay, so why don't we have Kailani and Jasmine
and before I turn the microphone over, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Austin. I teach 7th grade science at Waikoloa Middle School, and I feel very lucky and privileged to have been a teacher in this position this year. I also feel very lucky and privileged to be a part of the program this year. Hearing all these presentations and just seeing us all together, I think this is awesome, and I'm just very appreciative of it. Let's give a quick round of applause for Savai, Shaylin, and Kailani. Okay, I'll help put you.
So we did our project about ocean pollution. I'm Kailani. I'm Shaylin. I'm Tavai.
And I'm Jasmine.
So what is ocean pollution? Ocean pollution is the introduction of harmful substances, including both chemicals and trash, into the ocean environment.
$15 to 20 tons of trash washes up on Hawaii shores each year. That's a lot of trash.
Today we're going to be talking about the Pacific Garbage Patch. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is 1.6 million square kilometers. In the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, there is 1.8 trillion trash estimated, which is broken into microplastics. That's a lot of trash. This patch is twice the size of Texas or 3 times the size of France.
Okay, so raise of hands, how much of you like to eat seafood? Okay, that's, yeah, majority of you guys. So if we litter and there's plastic and all that kind of trash in our oceans and the fish eat it, and then we eat the fish, that's not good for our body or the fish's body.
Power of awareness. The more people know about the issue, the greater our chances of bringing about meaningful change.
This is the impact on marine life. Marine life, such as fish, turtles, and seabirds, often mistake plastic for food. Plastic ingestion can lead to choking, poisoning, or even starvation. Marine ecosystems suffer, affecting biodiversity and food chains. Every piece of plastic we remove from the ocean is a step towards a brighter, cleaner future for our planet.
Everybody remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Thank you.
All right, Apollo and Massimo, come on up. We're just good. We're going down.
Wait, I just like this. Okay. Aloha, everybody.
You'll just turn it on.
You guys got it.
You got it.
Aloha everyone, my name is Apollo Carion and this is Massimo Macaluso, and today we're going to dive into something very important happening right here in Hawaii, which is marine invasive species. They may sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but they're very real and they're causing very big problems in our ocean. Before we jump into this, who here likes to go to the beach? That's the majority of you. Now raise your hand if you ever heard of the term invasive species. All right. Santi, how about you? Tell me about like what it is. No, I asked for it. It's whatever. That was really close. But a marine invasive species is a non-native plant or animal that can damage or even destroy an ecosystem. If we don't take action, they can cause our native species to die out, and our ecosystem could collapse. So why is this such a big deal here in Hawaii specifically? Here's the deal. The first reason being that Hawaii is one of the most isolated places on Earth, and many of our native species evolved with no natural predators, so when predators show up, they're not ready. The second is that these species never had time to develop defenses like poison, thorns, or hard shells, so they're basically defenseless. Another reason is that tropical climate is awesome for vacations and for invasive species. It's like perfect breeding ground. And the last reason is that Hawaii gets people and products from all over the world, and sometimes those can carry tiny hitchhikers, plants, animals, or even spores. Let's look at one of the invaders, smothering seaweed. Sounds dramatic, right? Well, it kind of is. Now you may be wondering what it is, and it's an algae that came from the Indian Ocean. You can spot it if you see thick, slimy mats covering coral like a fuzzy green blanket that covers. The coral may look discolored or dying. It harms our ecosystem by blocking sunlight, killing coral, and messing up the food chain. People actually remove it by hand. Also, we use native sea urchins that love to eat algae, which is natural teamwork. Next up, meet the gorilla ogo. No, it's not a giant gorilla. The gorilla ogo is a reddish algae from the Philippines. It's reddish or maroon, sometimes orange, grows fast, and forms thick patches. It is negatively impacted by blocking sunlight and oxygen from eating native corals and outcompeting native algae. Luckily, we can stop this. Volunteers and conservation groups help remove it. Also, we spread the word so people don't accidentally move it around on their boats or fishing gear. So far, we've looked at how invasive algae can damage coral reefs and throw off the balance of marine life. But plants aren't the only problem. Some invasive fish are having major impacts on our ecosystem. Washiko is going to take it from here and explain how these species are affecting Hawaii's water.
First up, we have the roy. The roy is a brown fish with blue spots and vertical light stripes, and it originally came from French Polynesia. It's one of the ocean's most dangerous invaders in Hawaii and has a huge population here. It was introduced to help with fishing and create a more diverse ecosystem, but it backfired. They eat millions of fish a year, and that's a massive impact towards our native fish population. And does anybody here like to go fishing? Has anybody caught a roy? Next up, we have the tapu, or also called the blue line snapper. It's a bright yellow fish with blue stripes, introduced to boost fishing. They were meant to help with the local fisheries, but ended up snapping more than just lines. They bully other fish, steal food, and eat baby native fish before they can grow up. Now, let's talk about the tilapia. They're invaders that hit us in the freshwater, and they were brought here as fast food. literally. They're easy to farm and quick to grow, but there's a downside. They spread way too fast and they crowd native fish and mess with entire freshwater ecosystems. And now, let's bring in some percentages. As you can see, there are over 10,000 invasive species here, and that's about 27% of all the species in the state. So how big is this problem? Well, it's 27% of all the species in the state. It shows how quickly invaders can take hold when they're not kept in check, giving us a great reason for this project. And for a conclusion, the invasive species are a serious threat. They damage ecosystems, outcompete native life, and change the food chain. But we can fight back by learning, volunteering, protecting what's native. Invasive species aren't just a topic, they're a real problem, and we need to stop it. You can help too. Maybe you're going fishing soon, you're able to remove some of the species like arroy or tilapia. And if you're snorkeling or diving, you can identify some species like smothering seaweed or gorilla ogo. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you learned something new and feel inspired to help the ecosystem. Does anybody have any questions or want to share what they learned? All right.
Come on up.
Next up, we have Nohea Salo. Okay. This project is a video. Something that I appreciate about this group is that they got together and took action outside of the classroom on their own, which is pretty awesome. We haven't tested the audio yet, so let's see. If not, I have an idea. Okay, let me try something. Okay, let's try it.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Nohan. This is Irani. And this is our project on the crown of thorn starfish. But first, we'd like to give a shout out to my dad because he's the one that took us diving to go see the crown of thorns. We were originally supposed to present to second graders, so we made them a children's book, but we were unable to show it to them. But we worked really hard to make it. It's about the crown of thorns starfish and how to get rid of it. And if you want to check it out, just come over and see us. Thank you.
Yeah, so I think it was kind of cool to see some overlap because earlier I recognized another group was presenting about Crown of Thorns, and now we got to see someone like taking action and trying to get them off of the reef, which is awesome.
Okay, son. Someone up. This song we all love.
Aloha, my name is Santiago, and today I'm going to be presenting about why